Hi, welcome back to PennLive.com, talking Penn State football once again with Greg Pickel. I'm Dustin Hockensmith. We've covered impact arrivals. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. Let's look at breakout candidates who were already on the roster. So redshirt freshmen and beyond, offense and defense. Who's your pick on offense?
Yeah, I'm going to look at the three running backs who come off redshirt years: Mark Allen, Nick Scott, and Jonathan Thomas. It's a bit of a cop-out to pick three guys for this category, but the fact of the matter is one of them is going to have to step up and be the backup, assuming Akil Lynch stays healthy and grabs the starting job as expected. This is a group that, along with freshman Saquon Barkley, is pretty talented and maybe a little underrated, considering all three of those guys weren't the most highly rated recruits out of high school. But Thomas and Allen and Nick Scott have all shown and been praised by the coaching staff for showing an ability to do a little bit of different things than Lynch is able to do. And I think that when you look at it from the speed perspective, from the out of the backfield perspective, these guys can offer a little bit of everything, and I think each one of them could make a case for being complementary to Akil Lynch. So it's going to be interesting to see which one sort of grabs that job by the horns in summer camp. But one of the three, I think, is not only going to break out, but also really make an impact on this 2015 team.
The backup competition at running back is really something to watch, especially from a pass protection standpoint. That's something that Lynch struggled with as a redshirt sophomore last year. I want to see how that unit does in helping to keep Christian Hackenberg upright. That could ultimately hold the key on who plays and who doesn't.
No question.
For my breakout pick, I'm looking at Saeed Blacknall. He showed flashes last year, and I don't think there's a more physically impressive wide receiver on the depth chart than Blacknall. Godwin, not quite as athletic, I think, as Blacknall, but showed a lot more polish and was a lot more ready to contribute last year. But Blacknall, all you needed to see, I think, was his one-handed catch, I think, against Ohio State to show me what he's capable of doing. And his emergence as a year two breakout could really go a long way for this offense. What about defense?
Yeah, I'm looking at Nassib. This is a guy that went from walk-on role player and tackle dummy in his first couple of years to oft-used backup in Sean Spencer's rotation to scholarship starting defensive end, according to James Franklin. So I think that when you look at this guy, he just overwhelms you by how big he is, and he doesn't really have the highlight reel play or anything along those lines from his time at Penn State. He's just been very solid. He's a very solid player. He's a good candidate to replace Deion Barnes and C.J. Olanian, both of which left Penn State in the last season. He's also a good candidate to break out this year and have a big year on that defensive line.
If you get very solid out of Carl Nassib, out of Garrett Sickles, then you're really looking at not a decline from Olanian and Barnes last year. So I like that pick. I'm going with Koa Farmer. The linebacker depth chart is a little bit cloudy. They got a lot of candidates there, but I don't think any of the others can do what Farmer can do as a safety into a converted linebacker. He says he's up to 225, and the early reports are that he ran in the 4.4s in the 40. I think you have to unleash that, and it reminds me a little bit of Gerald Hodges when in the early part of his Penn State career, how athletic he can be as a former safety. Was brought in as a four-star athlete, I think with the intention all along to build him into a linebacker, and I think you could see it. At the very least, I'm expecting splash plays on special teams. If he doesn't get on the field in that linebacker rotation, that might be one thing, but you're going to see him making plays, and he's explosive enough to really turn some heads on special teams. Not just make plays, but make plays that make your jaw drop. That's what I think. That's Greg Pickel, and I'm Dustin Hockensmith. Those were our breakout picks for PennLive.com.